So after reading the article and just kind of looking at stuff that the document presented on the aftermath and what happened after the Hurricane Katrina came through in New Orleans, I definitely have some mixed feelings about it. For one, I was shocked. I was shocked. I knew about all the Kanye West thing. I think pretty much everybody did, but I was really shocked of how long it actually took to get there. I remember that it took a long time. I was in high school. I didn't pay much attention to it, or I paid attention to it, just not in detail. I remember it took a long time, but I really didn't know it took 9 days. That makes sense, is what people were dying, left and right in the Superdome. Um, I was also shocked at the two pictures, um, that were presented, and the African American child considered lunar, but then the white people were considered finding stuff from a grocery store. But I also think that, even though it's by the same publication, I do believe that some whites were considered lunars too after doing some other looking up. I don't know if it was just that author that was discriminatory in nature, or if it was the way the whole thing was handled. But I think if you're looking at it, I also think people should play devil's advocate. And when they also see this side of the article, they should also say, okay, well, then the other side could be this. It's really important for someone to see someone to be open to all sides, other than just seeing one side and believing it and not doing outside research on their own. Because after doing some research, white people were also considered rulers, and it just wasn't African American. But the fact that that was in the same publication definitely has a race content to it. I think this discussion is a fair discussion to have. I think that any discussion is a fair discussion to have. I'm always open, and other people, especially in the counseling profession, should always be open to the way people feel. If people want to discuss it and want to bring their points, and if they want to discuss something and how they believe, and then especially if they have reasons to back it up, then I think it's a fair discussion. I think it's fair because, you know, a group of people felt that it was discriminatory and they had evidence, or what they believed to be was evidence to back it up. So absolutely, I think it is a fair discussion. Um, what I don't think is fair, though, is how some people attacked the government and president about the situation. We all have our own opinions about political parties. Me, I really don't have an opinion. I do have an opinion, but I don't consider myself leaning one side or the other. I do it by kind of candidate by candidate thing. But I feel like some people in that situation just didn't like the current president. So I feel like they tried to put the blame on him for how it was being responded. So I feel like that wasn't fair, especially Kanye West. But then again, he has every reason to speak his mind, and it's your choice to where you want to believe him or not. So if you think he's a good source to back up, and he's a good source to say, he said this, so it's right, then that's your opinion. But it's just not my opinion. Um, but everyone's entitled to their own opinion, and that's what's so great about having so many different people and living in this country, is because we're allowed to speak what we want. So I don't think it was necessarily wrong to say what he believed. I just don't think we should attack the president, because we should respect the president, no matter who's in office. Um, Regardless who the president is, I would never say anything publicly bad about them. You know, something so bad like that, claiming that he doesn't care about a certain race on DC. I just think it's disrespectful, because he is our commander in chief. I don't view the situation as racist. Um, I think that I'm trying to think, what really affected it is that most of the city was in poverty, and it just happened to be a high percentage of African Americans that were there. I think the whole hurricane was underestimated. The fact that there was water flooding the streets certainly had an effect on how fast people can get there. And the fact that many people just weren't able to leave and there weren't many places to go had an effect on how everything was just kind of everywhere and everyone was everywhere. So I don't necessarily feel like it was something discriminatory towards African Americans. I feel like it was um, just had to do with the poverty level, and I think it definitely should have been handled in a more efficient manner. I think that especially level areas that are below sea level that we know has a lot of poverty, they need to have certain plans in place because I don't think anything was certainly planned. So, but I definitely do see why people um, of the African American race would consider this, a discriminatory act or racist because there has been racism going on for so long, especially with the African Americans started, from slavery. And there's still stereotypes that happen, not as often, but they still do, and there's still discriminatory and racist acts that happen against African Americans and everybody for that matter. But I can definitely see why um, that would they would think that, and this goes to where I think cultural identity does affect the way one perceives this event. I wonder if I was African American and I didn't really support as I was African American who didn't really support George Bush. Yes, I probably would see it, say it was racist because it would be easy. I don't want to say easy to play the victim because that's not true, but it would be easy to blame something on someone that I didn't particularly like. But the fact that you know, I didn't mind George Bush as a president, in his first 4 years that is. And I didn't and I didn't feel that I that anybody I identified with culturally was being, discriminatory against, then I don't feel that it was that it was racist. So it'd be interesting to see. I wonder how I would like it if a certain president was in office and something bad happened, you know, to or something negative happened to someone I culturally identify with, and something the same thing happened where they didn't respond fast enough, or there's a lot of unfortunate events happen. I bet that would definitely perceive change the way I perceive certain events that happen. But I look forward to hearing everybody else's responses.